Welcome back to the After the Scales podcast, episode 31, presented by DJD Graphics. I'm Jacob Dove from Phenom Motorsports, along with Shaun Blight of Canadian Racing Tours. Today's special guest, driver number 58, dirt late model, GARRETT ALBERSON, hailing out of New Mexico. GARRETT, thanks for being on the podcast today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So obviously, GARRETT, you've been on a roll here recently. We wanted to congratulate you right off the bat with your first Lucas Dirt late model win at Port Royal in exciting fashion too. Last lap corner pass, photo finish at the line over our other guest we had, Devin Moran. It was a really exciting race. Everyone was really happy for you. And then last night you got the job done and you won at Eldora. You're at Eldora right now getting prepared for the World 100. But talk about, that first win experience and also how the car felt last night and you're carrying that momentum into the World 100.
Yeah, it was definitely a special. I've been, raced late models for about 14 years now, I think. And just from the get-go, Lucas Oil National Racing is always kind of what I had my sights set on, and running up front, winning races was always kind of the goal. And but yeah, it's just super hard. I think for your average guy, that isn't kind of special from the get-go. Like, there's some guys that are just naturally talented, but I'm just kind of like a normal guy. I feel like, yeah, it's been kind of a lifelong, dang near obsession to make it happen. So it definitely is really special.
What are the emotions when you come off your first win? You've been at it for a while. Is it as much relief as it is excitement? And now that you've won and you've won again now, do you find a different mentality going to the track? You're a little more, a little more relaxed maybe?
Yeah, I would say so. There's, the team puts so much money and time and and everything into it, and you really want to be able to, perform for them. And, you've seen other guys that I kind of started racing in this national deal get some first wins, like Dalton and stuff like that, and it's like, I know I can race with them guys, so I'm pretty sure I can do it. But I've always kind of been the type that believes things believes things about myself when I see them take place, and so now knowing for sure that that's something I'm capable of, I don't know, it's just like kind of erases that question mark, I guess, where you just know that, I've been able to beat all these guys at some point or another, but never all at the same time, I guess. So it's cool to know that you can do it all at the same time and make good decisions in the car. That's kind of what it really boils down to, is just making good decisions when it counts. Like last time was one of the scenarios here at Eldora that probably in the past would have bit me, and it almost did. Just restart decisions of which lane to pick up the gas in and what speed and things like that. And I don't know, I guess that little bit of confidence just goes a long ways to clearing your mind to where you just think and do your job.
I know we're kind of talking about your recent success, but obviously you've been racing since 2005. You have around 54 late model wins. You've had a pretty good career now. You're kind of building that momentum of that recent success in the Lucas Dirt. Obviously between Lucas and the World of Outlaws, that's the top level late model racing. But kind of going back a little bit, what kind of got you into late model racing? Because obviously you're from New Mexico. It's not like Kentucky or Ohio or Pennsylvania, areas that are really heavily on dirt racing. Kind of outside of the Wild West shootout, what kind of inspired you to get behind the wheel of a dirt late model?
Really, I don't even honestly know. Growing up there in Las Cruces in New Mexico, that whole region's kind of more dirt modifieds and sprint cars is real popular. And there was a period, I think, a little bit before my time where late models were pretty popular in the Arizona, like Phoenix and Tucson area. With a lot of tracks running, and every now and then I think probably like once a year when I was a kid, they'd have a late model special at our track. And for some reason, just the late models, just the look of them, the sound, just the whole thing, just it always intrigued me more than any other kind of car. from when I was little. So, and then right about the time I started racing, kind of more, I don't know if full time's the right word, but like full seasons when I was probably 14 or 15. It seemed like the dirt late model stuff was really getting going on TV a little bit more. They were starting to have Lucas races on Speed Vision or Speed Channel, whatever it was at the time, and I just thought that was the coolest thing ever. These guys like Earl Pearson and Scott Bloomquist and Don O'Neill winning these races and just traveling all over, and I thought that was awesome. So I don't know, I didn't even know about the races like the Wild West Shootout until we actually went to them. So it was just kind of like, well, there's a chance to go run a late model. That's pretty awesome. So just started from there.
So, Garrett, anyone who has seen you race in person knows that you're one of the, I don't think it's unfair to say, you're one of the hardest working guys in the pits. You got a fairly small operation in terms of how many people you have compared to some of these other teams. Who was kind of showing you the ropes back when you started the late model that's kind of carried that through to your expertise here today?
Well, I think a lot of it came from out in that part of the, in the Southwest where we raced at. There really weren't a lot of teams that had paid help. I didn't even know that paid help, paid crew guys were even a thing back then. I was probably one of the few guys in our area that was lucky enough to actually get paid to drive. When I started racing late models, I was working for Dave Dietz down there in Las Cruces, and he had a bunch of cars. He raced, his wife raced, his son raced for a period there, and I raced, and he had, I think, 4 or 5 super trucks, which were like a dirt, truck there, a local class, and then at some point we had like 4 or 5 late models, and so they needed someone to keep all that stuff up, and I was like, well, I can do that, and I can figure it out anyways, and so just kind of out of necessity, learning how to work on a little bit of everything during the day, keep all that stuff up the best I could. A lot of trial and error because I was never a super great mechanic whenever I drove for my dad when I first started racing, because we just didn't race enough to really need to be super mechanically inclined. We just raced and had a good time, but when you got that many cars, you learn the hard way how many things can go wrong and what all kind of stuff needs to be fixed. And I think just kind of out of necessity, just getting to learn every part of it, and I was just really curious about everything and wanting to know as much as I could. I figured it'd make me a better racer just to know my cars really well and the truck, trailers, everything really well. So I've always enjoyed that part of it.
And fast forwarding to now, obviously you're with Roberts Motorsports, and Ken and Beth support you. You got some great sponsors on board: Sunoco Race Fuels and Mesilla Valley Transportation. You have a Longhorn chassis and Clements engines. You have all these resources and really good, car put together. Talk about, how much support has been given to you and that you've earned through your racing career, and how much it helps knowing going to the track that you're going to be up front competing with RTJ, Jonathan Davenport, Hudson O'Neill, all those guys, and going at them, battling every night.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. For the longest time, I looked at the national guys like they were some, like it was just some special realm that you couldn't even think about getting to. But now that we're fortunate enough to be out here in it and have, really good equipment and really great people working on the car and behind the scenes, people like Vinny with VG Performance helping us, find things with the shocks and stuff that we wouldn't find otherwise. You just have so many cool pieces in motion. And when you get to do it long enough, it just kind of feels like the same racing I grew up doing. You're racing against, the same guys most weekends. You're just doing it kind of on a bigger stage. So it's pretty wild. Really doing racing like this is way more normal, I feel like, than I realized it would be, just because it's kind of the same racing every weekend, same guys. It's just a lot more traveling and getting to go to more tracks, which I like. I love the variety in the tracks a ton.
Looking at the World 100, you're obviously at Eldora in the pits. Talk to us about just how big this event is. I know it, the fans love it. It's massive for the fans, but as a driver, when you're showing up there for the World 100. What's going through your mind, and how badly do you want to win this?
Yeah, I don't know what it is about this track here. It's just got a just kind of like a mystique to it, and there's so much history and so many cool people that have raced here, and so many cool people that it's taken to get this event to where it is now. Yeah, it's just got a big feel to it. There's no other way to describe it. You know, if you haven't been to this race, it's just got this big event feel, this big energy to the whole pit area, camp area, the stands, the people walking around in the pits. Like, it's just got this vibe of just excitement around the whole thing, and it's just so, you know, I don't even know if it, you know, the money is cool that it's, you know, for good money, but it's just, I don't know, just the history, just the whole thing has just got such a cool feel to it that it just makes you want to try your hardest. And every time that I'm here, people try their hardest, and it's really difficult. So, yeah, just to make the race is a big deal. And, you know, everybody obviously wants to win it, but just to be a part of the show is pretty epic.
And there's no doubt that you're one of the most popular drivers in the Lucas Dirt Series. And I know between me and Shaun, we both like cheering you on, and you're a great guy, and you represent yourself well and your whole team. Where does this, like, you know, positive, you know, good guy demeanor come from? You know, sometimes guys, you know, can kind of be, you know, kind of quiet to themselves or don't really interact with fans, but you're always, you know, interacting with anyone who stops by your race car, signing autographs, taking pictures, you know, shaking people's hands. You're a very personal guy and easy to root for. I know watching Flo racing night out, it's always, you know, Dustin Jarrett, James S6 are always, you know, saying, oh, Garrett Alberson, you know, this is going to be a popular one if he holds on. And, you know, there's no doubt that you're a pretty likable person in the pit area. So where does that come from? Is it like a family thing that you were taught to, you know, be like a good, positive role model for future race car drivers?
Yeah. I feel like my family's always kind of been. My dad always taught us about attitude and just never putting people before you and importance. You know, it was just, we're all just humans, and we're all just trying our best. And but, you know, if you focus on your attitude and you know, bringing up the people around you instead of down, that's going to be the best that you can do. So that, and you know, kind of growing up around the Christian faith and stuff, I feel like has been a pretty big shaper in just my general outlook on things. You know, just treat people, you know, you try your best to put your neighbor before yourself, which is difficult, and especially in today's world that kind of doesn't really look at things that way. But I feel like if we all try to do that, then things go pretty smooth. So I think that's a big part of it. But I think too, I've always appreciated people that have respect for each other, and I've always respected all these racers out here. So I've done my best, I feel like, to try to build that respect into our program, you know, just into every part of it, and the way that we treat people, and the way that we, you know, keep the car up, and the way that we keep the rig up, and try to make it all approachable as best we can, because we're just racers, no different or any better than anybody else, just out here kind of doing our thing. So,
all right. So at the World 100 this week, what's your strategy going in? What do you need to do, you know, in terms of qualifying and that kind of thing? Like, what do you need to do to put yourself in a good position to win on Saturday?
I mean, I think the main thing, you know, there's definitely some luck that comes into it with the inverts and the way that that stuff kind of shakes out. But ultimately, the good cars usually will win out and run up front, even with the inverts, it seems like. So I'm hoping that our setup and what we learned yesterday will translate, because that's the first speed I've ever had here. I mean, I've had some flashes that to me meant something that maybe people didn't recognize before. You know, they're maybe in B mains or, you know, small things like that. But I felt like I could get the car around here if I could ever just land on, you know, the whole package setup, you know, motor, body, just the whole thing to make it all operate right. But yeah, the good cars and the guys that know where to put themselves on the track and make good decisions seem to end up in the front and in the show. So when we came for the Dream, we started out just okay, like about a 30th or 35th place car, and you're just always on the back foot the whole weekend. You're experimenting, trying, and you're just always just that little bit out. And we even missed the invert, and it put us like 6th or 7th in a heat or something like that. So yeah, if you can just have a solid car and get somewhere in that invert to where you're in the first couple rows, I think you're gonna have a good shot at it. And hopefully we can keep this thing going around there like it did yesterday. And yeah, just do the best you can. And the intensity level ratchets up for sure as soon as this World 100 weekend starts. So we'll find out really quick what we got.
So in the immortal words, then, what you're saying, the immortal words of Macho Man Randy Savage, the cream of the crop rises to the top.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely that way. But for sure there's definitely a lot of luck when you get this many good cars in the same place, everybody, trying their best. At that Dream, we didn't start well on a heat, but we actually got up to third. We were in the transfer spot for a minute, and so I actually finally got the car to where it belonged in the race, and then just bad decision on the next restart knocked me out of it. So a little bit of luck, a little bit of just, it's all the little things add up when you're at a place this fast and this technical. So yeah, see what we can do.
And before we get into the rapid fire segment, I wanted to let our viewers know, if you go over to the QR code and scan it, you can buy some Garrett Alberson merch, buy a t-shirt, a hat, support Garrett, check out all his merchandise there. And yeah, Garrett, so every podcast we do this rapid fire segment presented by DJD gear. It's just 10 rapid questions. Just answer them first thing that come to mind. Some of them are racing, some of them are personal. So yeah, whatever comes up, just answer them. And if you're ready to go, so am I.
All right, sweet.
If you could be teammates with one other Lucas driver, who would it be?
I mean, I feel like we get along pretty good with Devin, and then we usually park by Devin Moran, and our teams get along pretty good, and we race pretty well, it seems like, and we put on some pretty good shows. So that would probably be a good one. He's super competitive, and I am too, so it would probably clash every now and then on that part of it, but it'd be fun, I guess, for a little while.
And why the number 58?
The 58 is pretty special because for Ken, it was actually his dad Herschel's number when he ran locally in that Moline Davenport area, and so he just carried that number on into the cars that he owned. And but it means a lot to me too, because my uncle Steve Sims, that races down in Texas, he was one of the first guys in the family that raced stock cars, and it was his number from the get-go. So that 58's always been kind of in the family. So yeah, so it's pretty special.
And some drivers have certain things to get prepared before a race, but do you have any pre-race rituals?
I don't know. I'm pretty simple. I mean, I'm sure I've got, an order of events that I kind of do. I tend to chew gum, usually in the car, just to, I don't know, stress reliever or something to keep my, body occupied while your brain's got a lot going on or something. But that's pretty much it. I try to keep it pretty simple.
And you spend a lot of time out on the road, but what is your biggest pet peeve when you're driving your street vehicle?
Well, now that we've driven rigs quite a few miles, mostly just people that don't give trucks a lot of space, because when you're driving trucks and people don't give you space, you're like, yeah, this could go bad really fast. So I wish more people knew what it felt like to be in a big truck and give trucks more space. Oddly enough, people going fast and taking chances, it just doesn't make sense on the road. I guess after you've driven a race car, it's it just seems silly.
And do you have a song that is at the top of your playlist right now?
Yeah, band called Bring Me the Horizon just came out with a new album, and I think it's called A Bullet with My Name on it. Maybe couldn't have that wrong, but it's a collab with Under Oath, another rock band that I like. That song's pretty awesome.
And what is your favorite thing to do when you're in New Mexico?
New Mexico, when I get a chance, I like to go hiking. I love to be out in the mountains and just tool around in the rocks and stuff like that. Yeah, it's got that. New Mexico is pretty special for its landscape and how quickly you can get out of civilization and just be out in the wilderness, out in the mountains. It's pretty awesome.
And you're at Eldora right now, but would you rather win the World 100 or the Wild West Shootout?
For sure, the World 100. Wild West Shootout's definitely special, and we're going to try hard every time we're there. But this World 100, I mean, that puts you into like late model legend pretty much. So just what the whole race means to the late model community is pretty big. So that'd be pretty special.
And if you couldn't race late models anymore, what car would you be racing instead?
That's a good question. I feel like I've always kind of wanted to drive sprint cars. I like the non-wings from the kind of purity standpoint, you know, just not having to deal with the aero and all this stuff. It's just a guy and a motor and four wheels. That's pretty cool. But I think I could get, like, I like the idea of just really hauling the nail in a 410 wing sprint. So that'd be pretty neat. Right.
And we know that one of your favorite places to eat is Taco Bell, and it's pretty popular among other dirt racing drivers. So what is your Taco Bell go-to order?
Taco Bell go-to is the cheesy gordita crunch. Something about that gordita crunchiness all mixed together. That's where it's at.
And last but not least, but what do you want race fans to remember you the most for by the end of your racing career?
I mean, you know, winning some cool races would definitely be awesome. But I think the main thing is that I hope that it can show in the long run that you can be competitive and have a successful career and still treat people well and race with respect. And I definitely see people who have done it, so there's definitely encouragement there. I hopefully that, you know, for the most part.
All right, Garrett, we really appreciate you joining us. And just before we let you go, we know that you and your wife Danny are expecting. How's she doing? And when's the baby coming along?
She's doing really well. She actually went down to Phoenix to spend some time with her family, and now she's going to go hang out with my family for a couple days and just kind of ease her way back to Iowa. She's due the 25th of September, so just a few weeks here. So yeah, it's coming up quick.
Awesome. Well, early congratulations to both you guys, and wishing her well on that. And good luck this week, Garrett. We'll be watching you and cheering for you.
Yeah, appreciate you guys, and yeah, we'll see what we do. I'm super proud of my crew, and just really thankful for all that we got. So, yeah, see what we do.
All right, thanks a lot.
So thanks again to Garrett Alberson for being on today's podcast. We really appreciate it, and we wish the number 58 team good luck at the World 100. We wanted to quickly conclude today's podcast by letting everyone continue to subscribe so you can enter into our giveaway. I know I got some, as Shaun would say, asphalt sprint car racing to see this weekend at Citrus County Speedway for the Southern Sprint Cars Series. So that's pretty exciting for myself. And then I know Shaun was at the Budweiser International Classic supporting Camden Proud, who we had on last episode. So yeah, Shaun, share how that race went last night.
Yeah, it's always such a special race. It's one of my favorite. I look forward to it every year. And Tyler Thompson picked up his second win in the Classic, and just really consistent, stout car from start to finish. I don't think he was any lower than third at any point. So cool to see him win. He's a super talented young driver, and I know he was enjoying himself in the party in the pits afterwards. So he's probably not feeling too good today, but that's well deserved. Patrick Emmerling picked up the Whelen Modified win on Saturday night. There's a brief kind of rain delay that got things pushed back a little bit, but yeah, it was an entertaining weekend at Oswego, and now they roll the dirt in for the big Super Dirt Week that happens in October. So That's really cool. I know they don't wait very long. It's like a couple days. They throw the checkered flag at the classic, and then all the dirt comes in. So I know we'll be talking about that race coming up too.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely really exciting, and we appreciate everyone who tuned in for this podcast. And make sure you go support Garrett. He's a great guy, and stay tuned for episode 32. I know we're gonna have some pretty cool guests coming up, so stay tuned for that. And thanks for liking, subscribing, and following us on social media. And we'll see you guys in the next one.
After the Scales is proudly presented by DJD Graphics. From commercial and personal vehicles to racing bikes and cars of all makes, models, and disciplines, DJD Graphics can fully customize your vehicle to suit your needs. For more information, contact Darren and visit his website at www.djdgraphics.com. Tell him Shaun and Jacob sent you to receive special rates.